you gave me England's Ending by Bob Vylan. So according to an article I read on the website Louder, written by Paris Fawcett, Bob Vylan are the grime punk duo the music industry didn't want you to hear.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a clickbaity sort of title that when you read that, or when I read it, it kind of immediately gets me ready to call bullshit. And the article itself kind of describes the album as being too extreme for major labels to release, covering themes such as police brutality and institutional racism. But England's Ending is a single from their debut album, We Live Here, which seems to be released only on Bandcamp.
Only on Bandcamp.
Yeah, which does lend some weight to that kind of background story that it's too extreme for the major labels to kind of release or take hold of, kind of thing. I've that kind of grime punk label. I'm not sure what I was really expecting from that, but England's Ending on first listen, it isn't really that for me. It's quite a, on first listen at least, it sounded like a fairly generic like trap song with that sort of familiar like tittering hi-hats and sort of booming processed bass. It's not typically the sort of thing I'd listen to. That said, I do like the flow and timbre of rapper Bobby Vylan, and with lyrics like kill the fucking queen, she killed Diana, we don't love her anyway. I can see why some labels would shy away from the controversy. It's certainly a far cry away from like sort of mainstream landfill like Post Malone or something like that. The rest of the lyrics are pretty much about the kind of plight of the lower classes and struggling to survive in our broken, unequal society. One of the lines in particular is "Poor people are shit out of luck," which I quite enjoyed. My favourite moment by far is so towards the end when the singer basically loses the rag and repeats the main chorus with just an added level of grunt and aggression, screaming the lyrics, in England's ending, death still pending, where's the money you spent, work all week and work on weekends, still can't pay my rent. It's quite powerful stuff, and overall I think I would give it a 7 out of 10 because it's not really the style of music I would normally listen to. I do like quite a bit of hip hop, but the sort of trap take on that is not really my thing. When you listen to this on Spotify, it plays straight into the title track of the album, We Live Here, and that is far more what I would expect from something described as grime punk. It's got kind of rasping guitars and stomping drums and a sort of in-your-face attitude. But the other tracks that I've listened to, again, aren't really that either. So I'd be interested to hear the entire album because you've got this sort of trap style track, then you've got a punk track, and then there's another track called Lynch Your Leaders, which again is more similar to England's Ending. And yeah, so it would be interesting to listen to the entire album. But I think maybe what these songs are saying is possibly more interesting than they are sonically to me. Not kind of my personal taste. So I don't know. Without hearing the album, I think it might struggle to keep my attention. But you know, I don't know that for sure. And going kind of back to what I was saying at the start, I was kind of worried that the album the music industry didn't want you to hear kind of thing was a bit of a cynical marketing ploy. But having kind of listened to it and the content of the songs, I think it's more of a cop-out from the music industry. And it's kind of like the equivalent of like Strictly controlling like Black Lives Matters or equal rights campaigns, so that they only happen in places where the message won't reach the masses, which is a shame, because in this day and age, particularly, you need like protest art, and you need it to get out to people. But instead, we just get fucking Post Malone mumbling about whatever the fuck he mumbles about.
You've got beef with Post Malone.
I don't. I'm just using him as an example. I don't even really listen to his music, so I was worried that it was kind of a cynical thing. This article, kind of saying, "Oh, look, this is the band your like parents wouldn't let you listen to," kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think it necessarily is that. That was just it's just me being told, like, I don't know. It's like when something gets hyped up as in a certain way, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to that.
Yeah, immediately gets your kind of hackles up, doesn't it? Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually read all that much about Bob Vylan, but I remember when I first gave you this single on the last podcast, I'd kind of spoken a little bit about how, you know, the claim was that, you know, no record label would kind of touch them. And I remember looking at it was a post on Twitter, I think it was, and the main singer was playing, I think it was Pulled Pork. I think that's a name of one of the tracks on the albums. And he played a wee snippet of it, and he was like, "This is a track that record labels don't want you to hear," or something to that effect. And there was nothing about that song that made me think, "Oh fuck!" Like, granted, only listened to what, a minute of it or something, like, if that. But yeah, who knows? I gave you this song just because it was the newer out of the two songs in terms of its kind of release, or kind of when it got uploaded onto kind of Spotify. But certainly We Live Here is kind of more in keeping with the thing that I kind of listen to. He's cutting it, like in the video, he's cutting about with a Crass t-shirt and like a leopard skin jacket on or something. I was like, that'll do for me. But I still really enjoyed this song, and yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they come up with in the future. Like, it would be quite interesting to listen to the rest of the album, and we could get our hands on it if we really tried. I mean, it's available on their Bandcamp website, but
yeah, we just have to, you know, put your money where your mouth is, I suppose. Absolutely. And be like, if you really want to know what it sounds like, then you're gonna have to pay for it. That's
fair enough.
Back to the days before Spotify, when you actually had to take a chance on things rather than just be able to shove it on Spotify for pretty much for free. So while I don't think it's amazing, I do think it's decent, and definitely worth a listen. And if you like trap, then I don't see why you wouldn't like this. Cool. So that was England's Ending by Bob Vylan, which came out on the 7th of August. I don't think I mentioned when it came out, so we'll just throw that in there.
And kill the fucking queen. She killed Diana. We don't love her anyway. On the hunt like Elmer Fudd. I need funds. I need drugs. England's ending. Death still pending. Where's that money you spend? No youth clubs, no money, no houses. Poor people are shit out of luck. Work all week, still work on weekends. Still can't pay my rent. Times are tough.